Michael LeVan is arguably the greatest men's tennis player in SLIAC history. A three-year player at Principia College, he took home SLIAC Player of the Year honors 3 times, going undefeated in SLIAC singles action and finishing with a 48-18 overall record. Here is LeVan's journey from Principia College to Community College, a Division I school, and back to Principia.
So I actually went to Principia High School, and Keith Pearson, who was my coach in college, he recruited me. I actually went to Principia College for the first 2 quarters of my freshman year and then left. And during that time, I did go to community college, and I also walked on to the University of Tennessee Chattanooga men's team. So I saw a bit of a different scene at a Division I school compared to Division III, compared to Principia. While that time was fun and interesting, and I learned a lot, I realized that I needed some more hands-on experience because I was not a tennis player growing up. I was predominantly a basketball player, and I picked up my rackets just during the high school season. Keith and I had been in contact during much of my time away. And then when I decided I wanted to pursue tennis full-time during college, I decided that Principia would be my best opportunity to grow, both as a player and as in my character. So that's when I decided that Principia would be my choice for my final 3 years. Yeah, so Division I is, as we know in sports of football and basketball especially, it's very much a business. And you have to show up when you go into that Division I atmosphere. You have to show up almost as a finished product. Division III, while we have a lot of great athletes, you can be somewhat of an anomaly like me, and grow up being just a normal, an athlete of all sports, and then say, okay, I want to choose this path for my next 4 years, whether it's 2 sports or 1 sport. And having that hands-on experience with your coach and being in a smaller environment where you're really doing it for the love of the game as opposed to just to get a scholarship and graduate. I feel that it brings that love of the game out more and allows players like me who really want to see how good can I get at this, at this specific endeavor. I can go ahead and spend, 6 to 8 hours a day playing my sport, developing my skill, and know that I'm doing it for myself and not, for the love of the game, and not just because I want to keep my scholarship. I was definitely the one to want to push myself the most. My teammates were very supportive of everything I did, but I was the one who was in the gym and on the courts, most of the day. And I respected them for what they were trying to do, whether it was the arts or getting their degree in their focus. But mine was, okay, I know I want to either be a tennis player when I'm finished college, or I want to be a coach. So that was my path. And the great thing was we all supported each other in all of our different endeavors. But for me, it was predominantly my family, and Keith were the driving forces for my push towards trying to be the best player I could be. Yeah, so my first year back, my first full year back, my sophomore year, I didn't really know what to expect in the conference. I played a few tournaments, during the fall and during the winter, but I specifically remember our final match in the conference tournament, and being a bit nervous because I'd never really played in that atmosphere before. And it actually, we got rained out. The whole conference tournament got rained out. So they all came to Principia. Everybody came to Principia. And we played most of the matches at home, which was great for us because the atmosphere inside was crazy. And I just remember being one of the last matches on to play my final match. and went to a third set, and it was pretty epic. And yeah, it was really fun to feel that atmosphere and come out on top. And then besides that, the year that we won, the next year, my junior year, the year that we the men and the women kind of cleaned house. We got a couple good recruits for my junior year that were when they were all freshmen, and we just kind of took the SLIAC by storm, which was great. That was actually also indoors down in Veta. But I would say my fondest two memories would have to be my senior year. My doubles partner, Graham Whiteman, and I had played very well during the season together. And he during that final, he had actually went to get a lob and ran back and hit his knee on the fence. And I think we were up like 4-1, and we were playing an 8-game pro set. We were up 4-1, and he hurt his knee, and he could barely walk the rest of the match. We ended up losing the match, but it was very close. It was still, I think it was like 8-6 or 9-7. And I just remember him, powering through and doing everything he could, not being able to walk hardly, and finish the match. And afterwards we talked. He was very apologetic about on the verge of tears of like, I'm so sorry I ruined this. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you finished the match. Like, I didn't want you to even play because you were hurt, but the fact that you went on and pushed through it and we finished the match, like, I mean, that was just phenomenal to me to show his courage and his fighting nature. And then I can almost recount just about every point from my final singles match in my senior year playing against Maryville. Yeah, I was down 5-2 in the first set. Came back, and I didn't know what was going on. It was finally outside. I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, okay, I guess at some point my game is going to start pulling through, and won that first set in a breaker. And then the set immediately went down a break in the second set, and I was like, okay, here we go again. And then won that second set 6-4, I believe. But I can recall points like I'll be sitting around just doing nothing, and I'll get a flash of the point we had and the battle that we had. But it was, yeah, I mean, it was a very special time in having not only my teammates' support, but specifically Greenville. Their whole team was like supporting me and encouraging me, and that was pretty cool in Westminster too. So I was pretty close with all those coaches and those guys and their team. So that was a pretty cool atmosphere to like not just Principia fans and teammates were encouraging me, but the other schools as well. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, so I've become a full-time tennis coach. I've run a couple of programs in the St. Louis area. I was the director of the Copper Bowl in Tucson, Arizona, which was at the time before it got shrunk. It was the second largest tournament in the world. We had about 1,200 players. So I ran that for several years. Worked at Saddlebrook Academy and the John Newcomb Academy. Tried to play some pro stuff. Didn't get on TV, but still had a really good time doing it. Learned a lot. And now I am down in Greensboro, North Carolina, as the director of junior tennis at Sherwood Swim and Racket Club. And we're doing a great job building a pretty strong program here. So very excited to see what the future holds.